Uqba ibn Nafi was an Arab general who was serving the Umayyad dynasty, in Muawiyah and Yazid periods, who began the Islamic conquest of the Maghreb, including present-day Algeria, Tunisia, Libya and Morocco in North Africa. He was the nephew of Amr ibn al-As. Uqba is often surnamed al-Fihra in reference to the Banu Fihra, a clan connected to the Quraysh. His descendants would be known as the Oqbads or Fihrids. Uqba is the founder of the cultural city of Kairouan in Tunisia. Uqba accompanied al-As in his initial capture of cities in North Africa, starting with Barca, then proceeding to Tripolitania in 644 AD. In 670, now the emir or commander, Uqba led an Arab army to North Africa, crossing the Egyptian deserts, and setting up military posts at regular intervals along his route. In a region of what is now Tunisia, he established the town now called Kairouan, about 160 kilometers south of present-day Tunis, which he used as a base for further operations. According to one legend, one of Uqba's soldiers stumbled across a golden goblet buried in the sands. It was recognized as one that had disappeared from Mecca some years before, and when it was dug out of the sand, a spring appeared, with waters said to come from the same source as those of the sacred Zamzam well in Mecca. This story led to Kairouan becoming a place of pilgrimage, and then a holy city and the most important city in North Africa. In 683, Uqba was ambushed and killed near Biskra by Qusayla. Ironically, he died beside his hated rival, Abu al-Muhajjadin, during the battle with Qusayla's troops. His armies evacuated Kairouan and withdrew to Barca. Historical accounts. Most of the accounts describing Arab conquest of North Africa in general and Uqba's conquests in particular date back to at least 2 centuries after the conquest have happened. One of the earliest reports come from the Andalusian chronicler Ibn Idari al-Marrakushi in his Al-Bayan al-Maghreb fi Akbar al-Andalus. In it, Ibn Idari describes the moment when Uqba reached the Atlantic coast, saying, "O God, if the sea had not prevented me, I would have galloped on forever like Alexander the Great, upholding your faith and fighting the unbelievers." Edward Gibbon, referring to Uqba ibn Nafi as Akbah, gives him the title Conqueror of Africa, beginning his story when he marched from Damascus at the head of 10,000 of the bravest Arabs, and the genuine force of the Muslims was enlarged by the doubtful aid and conversion of many thousand barbarians. He then marched into North Africa. Gibbon continues, "It would be difficult, nor is it necessary, to trace the accurate line of the progress of Akbar on the North African coast. The well-known titles of Bugia and Tangier define the more certain limits of the Saracen victories." Gibbon then tells the story of Akbar's conquest of the Roman province of Mauritania Tingitana. The fearless Akbar plunged into the heart of the country, traversed the wilderness in which his successors erected the splendid capitals of Fez and Morocco, and at length penetrated to the verge of the Atlantic and the Great Desert. The career, though not the zeal, of Akbar was checked by the prospect of a boundless ocean. He spurred his horse into the waves, and raising his eyes to heaven, exclaimed, "Great God, if my course were not stopped by this sea, I would still go on, to the unknown kingdoms of the West, preaching the unity of the holy name, and putting to the sword the rebellious nations who worship another gods than Allah." It should be pointed out that although much scholarship on the life and conquest of Ibn Nafi are available, most have not been translated from their original Arabic into English or French.